Let you in as a little story from when I was young, and it's more embarrassing to me, but it reflects something that he went through, and kind of that analytical Bart brain. I don't even know how old I was, but I hope I was really young, but I think I was old enough to know better. But we'll back up a little bit. And when I was barely old enough to sit up, I used to sit underneath the hood on a blanket and hand Dad tools. All right, when he was working on cars. All right, so we've been mechanical since I was just barely old enough to talk. But anyhow, Ann's sister Linda had a problem with her trunk in an old Dodge Dart, if I remember right. And so we went over to her house and pulled out the back seat and went through and popped the trunk, and that was cool. Well, I decided that one Sunday afternoon after church, when he was taking a nap after church, which was routine, all right, I decided I'd go in the trunk and I'd let myself out. All right, and of course we live in Arizona, not the smartest thing in the world to do. So I hopped in the back of the '69 Pontiac Le Mans, all right, and I had the keys with me, all right, and I closed the trunk and I tried to pop this trunk, and it's not popping. It's different than a Dodge Dart, all right, and I quickly realized that I'm in big trouble. And we live in kind of like small farm country where we had a half acre. The houses were spread apart. There wasn't much traffic on the road, and so I decided what I can do is I have to make noise. I have to swallow my pride, and I have to make noise or whatever. So I start beating on the trunk and yelling and screaming, hoping somebody would come by, and that's not working. I'm getting hot and sweaty. I'm pretty much convinced I'm going to die. And there was one speaker in the rear deck of the Le Mans, and I undid the screws for it, and I stuck my hand in the back window. I figured if they can't hear me, maybe they'll see me. So I'm just sweaty and dusty and everything, and so I'm in the back window, and I'm in this trunk, and I'm pushing the little lever on the little light stuff and see what I'm doing every now and then. And I'm going like this and beating, and finally I hear some kids go, "Hello?" and I went to a private school, and so I didn't hang out with the neighborhood kid. I was kind of the weird kid, the geeky kid. And so it's not something I wanted to do, and I knew it was going to be like the story of the internet that some kid was in a trunk and whatever, but I wanted to live. So I did all this, and then I just finally said, "Don't ring the doorbell, tell my dad there's somebody in your trunk." So I remember my dad coming out kind of sleepy, pop the trunk, all these kids are around, and I just get out of the trunk and I just beeline inside the house. And he never says anything to me about it. He just was like, "What were you thinking?" And that was the end of the discussion. I think he pretty much figured I learned my lesson. So that's my human story about that.